Hello. I'm reading the course Contemporary Esotericism, and for next week we are supposed to read this paper by Sophie Woodward, and this is the third part of my discussion and reading of this paper by Woodward. And last time we reached page 361. Understanding Material Culture, Ethnography and Object Interviews. This article works from the understanding things are not just passive and inert, but have agency as they are able to bring about effects. 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 Not only passive objects. Through their material capacities, things are co-constitutive of social and material relations, whether theorized as actants within the framework of actor network theory, or as the affordances of things in design literature. We need to take seriously the properties of things, the entanglements of people, materials, things and environments is well acknowledged theoretically and indeed epistemologically, but less consideration has been given to how effectively current social science methods are equipped for exploring these issues. In part, this arises from disciplinary separations as materials have been positioned hitherto within the natural sciences. In this section, I consider approaches that have been taken within the social sciences to explore the material, before moving on to consider different disciplinary approaches in the next section. The ethnographic method of participant observation has been one of the main approaches in anthropological studies of material culture, which have explored how things frame everyday life. Within sociological research, ethnography has come to be used widely within the field of science and technology studies to interrogate scientific knowledge production practices as well as the entanglements of people and things. Although not explicitly categorized as mixed methods, ethnographic approaches offer a repertoire of different methods for understanding the material. The observations of what people do with things that is at the heart of the ethnographic methodology has been developed specifically through visual methods such as photography or the use of video capture to explore material practices as interactive and embodied. Visual methods have not just sought to capture material practices, but also to provoke responses, usually verbal, from participants. Photo elicitation techniques have been widely used in qualitative interview studies, have been adopted to explore facets of the material. Object elicitation methods have been adopted in many anthropological and sociological studies accounts as a route into people's narratives and memories. Ian Woodward's exploration of how people provide a narrative context for objects highlights the need to interrogate the relationships between what people say and what they do with things. How people talk about things is a way to create and extend meaningful relationships towards things, as language can then define and recast material culture. Whilst words may not be enough in themselves to allow us to understand material practices, they're still part of how people articulate their relationship to things. Given how many social science methods center upon people's verbal accounts, it is important to think critically about what these accounts allow us to understand about material practices. This article focuses in particular upon the ways in which words can evoke the materiality of things. Cultural probes is a method that perhaps most explicitly attempts to provoke responses in participants originating in design studies. The method entails participants being given a set of objects to live with, such as a camera, map, or specially designed object, which people respond to in different ways. These possibilities have been taken up in sociological research as a way to shift our methods from things being an object of study to also being part of the empirical process of entanglement. Using things in this way allows us to understand their vitality and incapacity to provoke, as well as opening up new disciplinary encounters. Yeah, yeah, hallelujah. So I will set on a wood bench that is appropriate because I'm reading a paper by Woodward. And today is 25th of 2005. And what was interesting in this part 3, by the way, part 3, what was interesting or important in this part is, I think it's a cliche almost, that words are important. Words. And I would actually use a kind of neologism. That is here. In English, the word "a world" is almost the same pronunciation, and they entangled these two concepts: word and world. And I think that we need the text, word, standing for word, because it describes the world, and vice versa. Word is not a separate entity from the world, and world is not a separate entity from the word. They are one and the same, or not one and the same, but they are entangled so closely that you cannot separate them. So I absolutely agree with Woodward, and I would actually use this neologism, invented by me. I think nobody has used it, to describe that we need the word to describe the world, and vice versa. They're entangled very, very closely. So let me finish this article, this part 3, with laughter yoga exercise by me. Word is entangled with world. Word is entangled with world. Thank you.